DJ Wolf Live. I gotta talk about this right quick. Uh, this is regarding Aeshia Curry. Now, I'm gonna say this disclaimer right here. I don't know her. I don't know her husband. I don't know her family. All right. This is purely, and I'm gonna say purely based on her statements regarding marriage and her kids. Nothing else. And I'm going only by that only. I just saw a recent interview with her. I don't know who the content creator was, but she basically was saying, and I know she keep on harping the same thing, but that's what I'm getting at. So she was saying she wasn't. She was kind of like, kind of saying she wasn't really ready for marriage. She intentionally, initially did not want to get married. She didn't even want to have kids. You know, it's like she's talking, and she actually said that. So I'm not saying anything out of turn, but she did say that. It's almost like she's saying, you know, it's like it wasn't what I really wanted to do. You know, one thing I noticed in that clip that I did see, not to say that she didn't say that, but from what I saw in the clip, I'm glad I made that decision to have a family and have a husband. You know, this is the same woman a while back who wished that she had men oogle over her like women oogle over her husband, Steph Curry. You know, it goes with the territory though. The thing of it is, Steph Curry is the one that's out there every night on the court, risking injury, playing ball. All right, he's the one that got famous for the breaking records in the NBA. All right, that's what he did. This was his life. This was his life. All right, this is bread and butter. All right, and yet you want, oh, I wish I could be famous like my husband. You know, do you know the women who would literally throw you under the bus to get with a Steph Curry or any high dollar value man like him that you sound like you're under appreciative of? Seriously though, I mean, I don't understand it. He is not known for having any scandals. He seems like he's a very great guy and a very great husband and a very great father. I said I don't personally know him, but from what I've seen, what I've heard about him, he's nothing but a great guy. You know, he's an entrepreneur. He's doing. I guess he's working in the media, behind the scenes and stuff. Has a couple of TV shows. I know there's one on Netflix. I ain't gonna go into detail about it, although I personally didn't like that version of the show itself. But never mind. I'm not going into detail about it. I already know about that one. But he's doing things, man. He's making big things happen outside of the NBA. You know, just like LeBron James did. You know, but what I don't understand is, you know, you have all that going for you. You got your own business. I forgot, I think it's July or something. I forgot the name of it. You know, on top of that, you know, you're a chef. You know, you got 4 beautiful children. You know, and you're complaining about, oh, I wish I would be famous like him. I wish I could get all the attention, all of that, over at J.S. Smith's channel. Of course. What a shock. This is a woman who didn't even care about her being out messing around on Will. On one end of the table. Guess who's sitting on the other end next to her? Steph Curry's mom, who did step out on his dad with his friend. That's documented, y'all. See, with me, this is for all to hear, but I also talk about stuff that's already well known. All right, not no rumor, not no gossip. I talk about strictly facts. Strictly facts. I don't talk about secondhand stuff. All right. I speak of what I know about through the media, directly from sources and from videos. All right. Steph Curry mom is with another man. Now I don't know if they got married or not, but that's well documented. All right. Aeshia Curry talks like she wants to step out on Steph. She literally does. You know, she talks like she wants to step out on the dude. And I'm like, that's crazy. You know. But she's listening to these other women. And she thinks she's missing out. You know. What are you missing out on? Getting in trouble with some other dude and you know, or dudes or whatever. You ain't missing on anything. If anything, your life has been elevated. And yet, Steph ain't enough. And then you have black women out there talking about, well, maybe she's not getting all the love and attention. Come on. If that was the case, Steph be stepping out, so to speak. No pun intended. Or maybe a little bit. But, you know, but he hasn't. Then it'd be we'd be talking about a different story altogether. But we're not. You know, let's be real. Okay? But they're trying to come up with defenses about why she feel the way she do. The hell with all that. Nobody knows why, nor nobody cares. Okay? At least you shouldn't. But, you know, of course, the sisterhood going to have all these feelings about, well, maybe he wasn't, you know, cupping her enough or wasn't paying attention to her and all that. I'm not buying that. They got 4 kids. Okay? I'm not buying any of it. But maybe she's bored with him. Now, that could be a remote possibility. Her being, because, you know, I mean, the way she talked, I didn't really want to be married. I didn't really want to have kids. You know, she basically didn't want a family. She wanted to be out there like everybody else. See, she had regrets about her being where she's at and not being famous. Well, I had to give up my life. No, you didn't have to give up nothing. You gave it up voluntarily. Remember, you voluntarily married this man and voluntarily had 4 kids with him. You know? But when you have regrets like this woman have, she said, well, I had to do this. No, you didn't have to do any of it, but you went and did it because that's what you initially wanted to do. You initially wanted to be with a famous guy instead, and you married him. And then you said, well, then after that, we had a kid. We went ahead and had a kid. Like, oh, it was rushed. This is what you wanted to do. But what it is, you seeing all these other women out here, these single women, divorced women or whatever, you know, or, you know, that's out here doing their thing and running business. But then she got a business too. It's like, what are you complaining about? You can do anything you want to do. You can hire nannies to watch your kids. You can go on vacations when you want to. You can go out there to have your own businesses, and you're still complaining. That's what I understand. You know, not like me. I don't have restrictions on my wife. I love my wife. Man, my wife been married almost 34 years. Okay, but she loves being with her husband. I love being with her. You know. She has no regrets about having kids. This is what she wanted to do. Aeshia having regrets because she feel like she ain't part of the sisterhood. She ain't part of a clique, which is what she really wants to be anyway. That's why she's talking about it. You know? And then you got people going, well, it ain't your business about her and stuff. Well, okay, you're right. I had to tell somebody that last night. It ain't my business about her and stuff. Guess who put out the business? You know? Really? You know? I would never know anything about that. I would never know that she wasn't that serious about stuff after the fact, had she not talked about it. Because I wouldn't have cared. You know, people be tripping me out with all this mess, man. And every time you make a point, and I noticed that with a lot of conversations, they did the same thing with Jada. Well, don't be into Jada and Will's business. Well, bitch, and I'm saying facetiously, well, bitch, If Jada didn't want anybody in the business, she would never talk about it. Let's keep that a buck. She brought it up. No one else would have ever known otherwise. I would have known about that. Most guys don't even care about that. Trust me, I ain't care about that. But the moment you put your business out there, cheating on Will, and trying to derail the marriage, and said you never wanted to be married, what do you think guys gonna talk about? This ain't about gossip. This is what you said. This ain't secondhanded information. This is literally what you talked about. Same thing with Aeshia. No different. She talked about it. She said, I didn't want to be married. I didn't want to have kids. That's a you talking about throwing somebody under the bus. You threw your kids under the bus too. I didn't really want kids. She said she really didn't want any of them. But yet, as soon as y'all got married, y'all had a kid. Y'all got pregnant, had a kid. That's what she said. So you really, oh boy, tire pressure already on my car. Damn. So really, for the most part, you didn't want no kids. You didn't want any kids. I gotta stop by the gas station. You didn't want any kids. That amazes me, man. You didn't want no kids at all. What? You know, didn't want to be married. I didn't want. I had my, I had my own thing going on. Blah blah blah. If you really had it going like that, Aeshia, let's be real. You would have never married Steph, and they had been together for years. I think they were together since school, something like that. Yeah. And I'm like, you obviously not happy with your life, with your marriage, and may not be happy about your kids either. But that's another whole story. I'm hoping that's not true. I'm hoping you're very content with your children. Because your kids, you have 4 beautiful kids. You know, I love children anyway. I got But anyway, it's just not enough. This is a guy who is literally taking care of your life. He's literally taking care of you. And even that's not enough. Wow, this traffic is bad out here. Again. Hold on. It don't make any sense, folks. I just, for the life of me, I don't understand it. Yep. I don't understand. I don't understand how a woman who, as successful as she is, doing what she's doing partly because of her husband, and then complain about it. It's like, I don't want this life anymore. I changed my mind. After all these years of being married to one of the most bankable players in the entire NBA, we want for not, because of him, 4 beautiful kids. And it still ain't enough. It's a testament to me how women change like chameleons. You know how chameleons change colors? They change mindsets just like that. You go from red to blue to green to purple to yellow to black to brown to orange. They have different tastes on everything. 1 minute you hot, 1 minute you cold, 1 minute you want to do something with your husband, next minute you don't. It's really sad, folks. Damn. I'm gonna turn this heat on now because they're going stuck in traffic. Yeah, I don't get it. And y'all wonder why the marriage rates are a lot of guys choose not to be married. They choose not to get involved in serious relationships. This is exactly why. It ain't that men ain't looking for love. Yeah, there are men out there who are looking for love, even high dollar value men. But high dollar value men also, decide, hey, if you ain't serious about having a family, you ain't serious about getting your act together, why should I marry you? I don't have to go there. I'm not gonna marry you just for convenience, for your convenience. No. It's either all or nothing. But then you got these women, they like Aeshia, who was content about being married as long as she had somebody who was famous like Steph. And then now she changes her mind about, oh, I don't know, I didn't have to do this. But you wanted to do it. At the end of the day, it was your choice. But also at the end of the day, you need to be a rider. If you was a rider for Steph then, you're supposed to be a rider for him now. Ain't no going back. You can't go back in time and say, I don't want to be married anymore. You can't go back in time saying, I don't want no kids. And get my career back and all that other stuff you're talking about. Ain't no mind changing no more. You can't go back to that no more. Those days are over with for you. For real. It's time to grow up. See, if you were in your 20s and you in the midst of something like, okay, I'm trying to decide if I want to marry this guy and have a baby and all that. Yeah, that's when you should have been thinking. Not now. You shouldn't even be talking about it. Somebody was right about what they said. It ain't none of nobody's business, but you put your business out there and told the whole world about it. That's why people are talking. People understand. The reason why people are talking about it because she brought it up. And obviously somewhere down the road you're not happy. She even said, she admitted, she goes to a therapist about it. She still deals with it. There's nothing to question at this point. You can't take back what you wish you had. You just deal with it. You revel in it. You're as famous as your husband now. Well, not quite. But you're getting you have no notoriety. What more you want? You have notoriety just because you're married to him. I'm sure you got pretty much everything you wanted. But you're saying happiness is still eluding me. I don't understand that. Just be content. I'm not rich, not by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm content that I'm able to do the things that I wanted to do over the years, even at my age. You're still young. You still have a lot of growing up to do on top of that. And here you is crying about, oh my God, I got kids with her husband. So what? There are women out there wish they had that. And you ain't happy? Man. Yeah, you seriously, no offense. I said, I don't know you. I don't know your family. I don't, I've heard nothing but good things about your husband. I really heard good things about your family in general, including you. But to sit there and whine about, oh, I wish I'm not even gonna say you wish. You said, I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to have kids. That's kind of telling about who you really are as a person. And y'all sisters out here trying to throw step under the bus. You better think about what you talk about before you open your damn mouth. Because the real issue is not some guy said step because he married her. That may be the case of some people who are have that opinion. I don't have that opinion. I think the real issue is her. His issue is her. Because no matter what he done for her, all these years, gave her a really good life because of what he does on the court. No matter how hard he works, no matter how much of a future Hall of Famer he's going to be, and provided her with 4 beautiful children on top of that. Women like her wants more access, and it will never be enough. Drop the mic. This is DJ Wolf Live. I am your host, DJ Wolf, and this has been For All to Hear TV on YouTube. I'm done. I'm out.